Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this month's hearing of the Tuscaloosa Historic Preservation Commission. My name is Kathy Pagani. I chair the commission. Today's date is October 12th, 2022, and the time is 5 o'clock p.m. I would like to invite my fellow commission members to introduce themselves, beginning on my right, please.
William Edwards.
Jordan Morris. Chris Brooks.
Sally Davis.
Thanks very much. And then joining us from city staff, we have with us tonight Mr. Chad Hobbs, the Associate City Attorney. Ms. Emily Hayes is with us. She's the Neighborhood Resources Coordinator. Mr. Jonathan Bowen, Planner, is with us this evening. Ms. Angie Terrell is the Administrative Assistant, and we have Mr. Kevin Jones providing audiovisual support for us tonight. Let me go over just a few preliminary comments before we start to hear our applications for this evening. The general purpose of the Historic Preservation Commission is to preserve and protect the buildings, sites, and structures of historic significance in Tuscaloosa's historic neighborhoods. We are governed by Chapter 20, Article 2 of the Code of Tuscaloosa, which includes design guidelines that are posted on the city's website. Our decisions are based on these design guidelines and do not consider use or occupancy. We do, however, consider such things as architectural style, appropriateness of materials, and how the structure relates to other structures in the immediate neighborhood in determining the appropriateness of the application. Any approval of an application requires 5 affirmative votes. And I'd just like to tell those here that if the certificate is approved, please be aware that there will be a final inspection by city staff of these approved applications to ensure compliance with what was approved by the commission. This is a public hearing. It is televised live on local cable, streamlined online through Facebook, and is being recorded to be posted on the city's website. We ask proper decorum, civility, and respect for others at all times. Prior to this meeting, notice was sent to adjacent property owners, and the public has been notified of the applications presented tonight. This hearing is a chance for the applicant to present his or her case, for the public to make their views known about the application, and for commission members to gather relevant facts about the application before making its decision. City staff will introduce the application. The applicant will then have a chance to make any comments. The commissioners will then have an opportunity to ask the applicant questions about the case. I will then open the floor to public comment. At the close of public comment, the commission will then discuss the matter and vote on the application. Any person wishing to speak on behalf of another person, group, or entity shall provide written authorization to the chairperson from that person, group, or entity being represented. Immediate family members, and we define that as a spouse, a parent, or a child, do not have to provide such written authorization when speaking on behalf of another immediate family member. And we ask the applicants to please leave signs in your yard, as city staff will be out in the next few days to collect them. All right, commission members, you've had a chance to review tonight's agenda items. Do any of you have a conflict of interest as defined by Section 6 of the commission bylaws with any of these items? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. And I'd like to ask city staff if proper notification has been provided for each of the agenda items.
It has.
Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Bowen, I'd like to invite you to present our first application for this evening.
Good afternoon, Commission. The first case is HPC 3822. Tom Murphy petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the construction of a single-family residence on the vacant lot at 28 The Downs. This is in the Downs Historic District and Council District 2. So here we have an image of the zoning of the property, as well as a closer-up image of that aerial. Here's a vacant lot, currently 28 The Downs. This is the adjacent northern property, as well as the adjacent eastern properties. So the proposal is to construct a single-family residence. Here we have the site plan. The house setbacks meets all of the zoning regulations. I did want to make a note that the driveway, the curved driveway, if approved, it would still need to be approved by the Office of City Engineers. Here we have the rendering of the proposed structure. And here are the exterior elevations from the front, back, right and left sides. The materials consist of roofing that will be architecturally shingles. They would be black. The siding consists of hardy board siding. The exterior front door will be composed of wood, and the windows are composite wood. And here we have the applicable design guidelines for roofs, windows, and entrances and doorways. We received no public comment for this application, and the representative for the petitioner is here to speak in person.
That's great. Any questions for city staff? All right, thank you, Mr. Bone. Let me invite the applicant or the applicant's representative to step up to the podium, please. And if you don't mind stating your name and your address.
Members of the commission, I'm Chris Centel with Centel Engineering Home Design, and 639 Black Bears Way, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your project?
I'd like to thank the staff. They did an excellent job, so I'm just answering any questions if you have them.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Mr. Centel? Well, your job this evening was very easy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Something may come up in a moment, and we'll bring it back to the podium if it does. Let me open the floor then to public comment. Is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to the application? All right, and we've had nothing submitted, so I will close the floor to public comment at this time and open the floor to discussion, comments, questions by commission members, and moving toward a motion.
The Downs is a neighborhood of kind of a fairly eclectic mix of styles, and staff's already covered that all of the materials proposed are well within the guidelines as being appropriate. As far as the other portions of the guidelines, that would refer to new construction. I mean, massing and being relative to context, I think that it fits in quite nicely. Move to approve as presented. Council, do we need to have anything qualifying the motion related to the driveway and OCE?
No, I don't believe so. That is a separate approval that will come from the Office of the City Engineer, so there's, the project will still be subject to getting that approval, so there's nothing that the HPC needs to do in terms of reserving anything out for that.
So my motion stands.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the application as presented this evening. Is there a second?
Second.
And I have a second. Any further discussion before we vote on this? All right, so the motion is to approve the application as presented this evening, and we will vote. Let's begin on my right, please.
Yes.
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 Mr. Centel, good luck with your project. If anything should change, though, please see city staff before you move forward, and good luck. Thank you.
Next case is HPC 3922. The Builders Group petitions for a certificate of appropriateness, the installation of 3 new windows and 3 new entrance doors on the primary structure at 1306 Queen City Avenue. This is in the Druid City Historic District and Council District 4. So here we have the zoning of the property, as well as an aerial overview of the property. Here's the primary structure on the property, the adjacent eastern properties, the adjacent southern property, and the adjacent western property. So this proposal is to install 3 new aluminum and glass entrance doors and 3 new windows to match the currently existing doors and windows. This application actually came before you back in July 9th, 2020. So they are proposing to install similar or the same exact doors and windows that received that HPC approval back in 2020. So again, here's a primary structure on the property. Here we have a closer up of those windows that received HPC approval. On the far left, you can see the door that was also approved by the HPC. Here we have the site plan for the east side of the property. It's actually not Queen City side or Queen City Avenue side. I just wanted to make a note of that. The signage is also not being proposed at the time. The only addition is for those new windows and doors that you see highlighted.
Nothing, everything else is what has been
Everything else
approved in the
is
past.
remaining the same. They're essentially requesting to add more of those windows and doors that received approval back in 2020. And the materials are the 3 new windows to match the existing aluminum glazing windows, and then install those 3 glass aluminum entry doors. Here are the design guidelines related to alteration. We received no public comment for this application, and the petitioner is here to speak in person.
Can we see the east side of that building again,
Sure.
please? Sorry, the photograph if we've got.
It is the
It
west
is the-
side.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I believe that's
I'm east-west
22nd.
challenged, yes. The 21st Avenue
21st
side,
Avenue side.
yes. Okay, so this is the 21st Avenue side. Okay, and we don't have the full view of it, do we?
Not the full view,
Okay, I wondered if,
just that one for the full
Yeah.
view.
okay. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Bowen? Right, thank you very much. And let the record show that Francine Wasden has joined the hearing. Welcome. All right, I'd like to invite the applicant or the applicant's representative to come on up to the podium and state your name and address, please, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Brock Porter with the Builders Group, 1307 25th Avenue. Only thing I would add is, I know you couldn't see it in the picture, but the 3 areas that we're proposing to modify here right now are currently solid brick, just like the rest of the building was, and the little indentations between the brick pillars. So we're doing this we started the building and did the modifications and remodel for our real estate office on the front end, which would be the southern end. Lost my direction for a second. And so we're now moving on to the second phase and modifying the rest of the building. So, but the only thing that is being proposed is the part that faces 21st Avenue.
Are there any questions for Mr. Corder? Well, thank you.
All right,
If we have anything else, we'll invite you back.
All right, thank you.
And is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to this application this evening? Hearing none, I will close the floor to public comment and open the floor to discussion by commission members. I will say the rehab of this building has been really remarkable. I remember when this came before us the first time.
Same materials as we saw 2 years ago, just an extension of what they're doing. I see absolutely no issue with it.
Is that a motion I detect?
I'm thinking about I think it's obvious, but probably need to state for the record that the signage would come back for a separate approval because these would be future tenants. So,
Right.
But considering that the motion or that the request is just for the materials for the doors and the windows, move to approve as presented.
Okay, so I
What
have,
was your initial concern? I couldn't hear.
I didn't really have a concern other than the fact that they show signage in this drawing and that would be future. They're obviously
Yes.
not wanting to put the words signage on the side of
No.
the building.
Quite.
So, so I just wanted to make sure that was stated for the record, that would be in a future.
right, so, yeah, just so, Mr. Corder, you know, future signage comes before us, thank you. So that was a motion, if I got that, to approve the application as presented this evening.
It is.
Second.
And I have a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, so the motion is to approve the application as presented this evening. We shall vote, beginning on my left, please.
Yes.
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 Mr. Corder, good luck with your project. If anything changes, please see city staff before you move forward. Thank you so much.
Next case is HPC 4022. Zach Thomas petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the placement of windows and exterior alterations to the primary structure at 621 Queen City Avenue. This is in the Druid City Historic District and Council District 4. So again, here we have the zoning of the property, as well as an aerial overview of the property. This is the primary structure on the property. Here we have the adjacent northern property, the adjacent southern property, and the adjacent western property. So the proposal is to replace aluminum siding windows with retractable aluminum windows. On the east elevation, you can see that 6 windows will be replaced by 2 windows. South elevation, 9 windows to be replaced for 3 windows. And on the west elevation, they will be removing 3 windows to be removed in favor of siding. And you'll see in the images that follow, they're proposing to enclose the siding of the sunroom with hardyboard plank siding. So again, here we have the primary structure on the property. This is the part, or the sunroom, that will be changed. So here's the siding, and these are the proposed changes. So replacing those 9 windows, going back with 3, surrounding that with hardyboard plank siding. And again, here we have the side where they're taking out windows to replace, to enclose it with additional siding. The materials are aluminum siding windows and hardyboard siding. Here we have the material spec sheet for the windows. And here are applicable design guidelines. We did not receive any public comment on this application, and the petitioner is here to speak in person.
And so just to be clear, we're talking about that sunroom extension on the back of the house?
Correct.
Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Bowen? Thanks so much. All right, let me invite the applicant to step forward, please, and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name's Zach Thomas, and I'm the resident at 621 Queen City Avenue.
So is there anything else you can tell us about your application?
Sure. This is as we detailed in the proposal. Oh, first off, thank you for the opportunity to talk a little bit about this project in front of you today. I appreciate it. So as your colleague mentioned, this is a replacement of deteriorated aluminum windows and fiberglass siding with new aluminum retractable sunroom windows. So it's a like-for-like situation. And then removing the fiberglass and sheathing it and adding hardyboard to enclose it a little bit more and create a proper sunroom out of the structure, which was built around the early 1980s.
Oh, so this was done in the 1980s?
Yes.
Okay, that was my question for you. I was wondering when this was done.
Yeah, the history of the structure, the house is, as is evident, is a very old house that's in the middle part. And over the years, they've added on at different times. And this structure right here was constructed around 1980, 1981. There's a deck that was added. You can see it maybe from the window, that illustration there. And then they enclosed it, and then that's what you see here. So it's a very new structure relative to the rest of the house. I apologize for my rendering there. That's amateur Photoshop.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your choice of window?
Sure. So the windows we selected were selected for several reasons. One, it was one of the better options that we discovered for a sunroom-like material or window that would be retractable with a built-in screen, so that we would be able to open it and close it with the summer and the seasons. The availability wasn't our concern. We're looking at, in some of our research, that lead times were extending into a year plus for windows, and I know that's not quite a consideration of the committee here, but when we're looking at developing and going through this process, it was like, well, we're able to find something that matches and improves the aesthetic of the structure, in our opinion, and also hits that sweet spot of availability and price point too. So that's the selection consideration.
That's a good question. Other questions for Mr. Thomas? Well, I'll invite you to have a seat in case anything else comes up. Thank you. And is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to this application? Seeing none, I will close the floor to public comment, and let's open the floor up to discussion by commission members. I think I was pleased that Mr. Thomas gave us that bit of information that this was built in 1980, 1981. We knew it was much more recent than the house itself, but I think that's a consideration that we're not altering a historic structure with this. And the window choice is just, appropriate for a sunroom, it appears. The materials we've seen before, that hardy board. Can we go back to what it is now? There we go. So what do we think, folks?
So the hardy board siding seems appropriate to me. I have a slight concern about the window material being an unapproved material based on its aluminum construction. But at the same time, I see it as an improvement from the current windows, and understand the circumstances for why it would want to be updated.
Well, I think it's valid. Whenever we look at these things, we look at materials and what's approved and what's in our design guidelines. And I think with a structure like this, we have a couple of things we can think about. Number one, it isn't part of the original house. And also what we have are aluminum windows right now, correct? And so in a way, we're replacing like with like on this structure. But it's also not an important part of the house, if that's a way of looking at it. That's the way I've been thinking about it. I don't know what the rest of you think.
Yes, I like the improvement.
Well, it's going to be a huge improvement.
Yes.
Huge improvement, getting rid of the fiberglass and just neatening up the whole thing.
I'm just curious, are there any pictures of the entire back of the house, kind of where you could, like a setback picture where you could see this and the rest of the house?
The only two pictures of the house that we received were this one from the side and then this one of the rear, just of that section.
Can I see that side view one more time, please? And then I think in one of the early slides of the property, the lot line, you could see this from that aerial view, I think. So let's see if we can go back to that. So, Mr. Thomas, just a quick question. When we're looking at this view, thank you for coming up, where is the sunroom here?
So you can see it right where that's been circled, yes.
Okay.
So that strange patch, that was old fiberglass roofing, you can see right there, that square. 2 years ago, we received permission to replace with shingled roof because it was leaking into the structure.
Okay. So really that square of fiberglass roof is that sunroom?
That's correct.
Okay, thanks. This is what I thought. I just want to confirm it. Appreciate it.
And I might have a photo I can bring up perhaps to show the commission on my computer of more of the structure as it currently sits. It might not have made its way into the packet, but I could look that up.
Is that of interest to anybody? No? Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for offering.
I'm looking at the standards for rehabilitation and alteration. I mean, essentially, it's repairing and replacing original features. I mean, essentially, it's saying use like-kind materials, utilize the substitute material only in its form and design conveys visual appearance of the original. We're not talking about an original section of the structure. Additionally, that's what's already on there. It's probably a higher quality material. The guidelines don't specifically indicate anything related to sunrooms, but it is an appropriate material for a sunroom, and they're wanting to maintain that use for this space. I don't see any potential issue for this, so I move that we approve.
I do have one question. It looks as though the hardy plank is close to the size of the siding that's on the house currently. Am I correct about that? The hardy plank looks to be the width of the siding in that last picture that we were looking at. Is that correct?
Yes, we plan on matching
Correct.
the face of the hardy board with the rest of the house. Not right there, because that's an asbestos shingling that at some point we plan on doing something with, and we'll work with the commission on that particular situation. But right now, we plan on matching the course or the face of the hardy board exactly to what you see right there in that left part.
Right.
Great. Thank you for that clarification, because I saw the asbestos shingle there too, and the siding. And
Exactly.
yep.
That will
Thank
be
you.
phase 3.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Thomas, since we brought him back now twice?
I'll stay.
You don't mind? All right. I think we're good this time. Thank you. All right, commission members, so we've had a little discussion here about the materials and about what's going on here. What do we think?
I think it's appropriate and motion to approve is submitted.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve as presented this evening. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? We'll vote. All right, the motion is to approve the application as presented this evening. We shall vote, beginning on my right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Mr. Thomas, good luck with your project. Should anything change, see city staff before you proceed. And we're looking forward to seeing the results. Thank you so much.
All right, and the last case is HPC 4122. Price McGifford Jr. petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the addition to the rear of the primary structure and the installation of 2 new windows at 42 University Circle. This is in the University Circle Historic District and Council District 4. So here we have the zoning of the property, as well as an aerial overview of the property. This is the primary structure at 42 University Circle. Here we have the adjacent northern property and the adjacent western property. So the proposal is to close a small unused area of the deck. They also propose to relocate existing doors and windows on the primary structure and add siding that will match the existing siding on the primary structure. So again, here we have the primary structure on the property. Here is the existing and proposed changes. So essentially, they are proposing to relocate the circled doors and windows. So on the bottom, you can see they will be essentially changing places. They are also requesting to install new aluminum clad windows on the side of the doors and also new siding and 2 portions of the rear of the property. We have some images that kind of show this a little better. So here are the windows and doors that are to be relocated. And here's a closer up of that door. Materials are for aluminum clad wood windows. They're proposing to match the existing asphalt shingles for that addition on the rear and also match the existing siding. Here are the material spec sheets for those aluminum clad windows. and here are applicable design guidelines for windows and roofs. We did not receive any public comment for this application, and the petitioner is here to speak in person.
So did everybody get those changes and what's going on? You're all good? Or do you want to see it again?
I would like to stop on the photo.
You want to stop on the photo?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Yep, sure.
That
There you
one.
go.
Thank you. But I don't have any additional questions. I'd just like to study this
Oh, you want
a second longer.
All right. But I just want to make sure that the commission members caught all of that. We're all good. All right. And we can ask Mr. McGiffert some questions too.
Yes.
And no public comment.
No public comment.
All right.
for this one.
Well, thank you very much. Let me invite the applicant or the applicant's representative to step forward, please, and just state your name and your address for the record.
Price McGiffert, 1313 Indian Hill Circle, Tuscaloosa.
Well, Mr. McGiffert, what else can you tell us about the project here?
Price has been working on this with Leah Alexander and tried to save as many materials as we could by swapping materials. And then, of course, everything we're going back with looks just like what was here. The house has been added on to 3 or 4 times. The hallway in the back is dead space, and we're going to come out to use that. And then the other space on the other side, the door's got it blocked anyway. They got stuff on the inside of the door, so that'll become a half bath. So it all becomes usable space without making anything that's not supposed to be on the outside of the house. Plus, the outside it's all tucked in the back corner of that part of the building anyway. But like I said, the house has been added on to 3 or 4 times that we've heard of from previous contractors before the Coors bought the house, probably 10 years ago, about the time Price bought his.
Are there any questions for Mr. McGiffert?
You're adding the French doors right here to the left of the power meter, is that correct?
Right.
Or is the power meter being relocated, or is it just,
Yes, if you look on the plans, go back, you've got where he circled, the doors get relocated with the doors and the windows get relocated where the door was. That's what they're gonna swap the 2 back and forth. And they're gonna add the 2 new beside the doors and the view windows to get more light into that area. But like I said, it's tucked in a corner that is tucked way back behind the deck, and it's just not a very usable part of the deck anyway. So it makes the inside, where they have another half bath, and then make that hallway we connect. You don't have to go through a bedroom, and then the doors go to the hallway, not in the bedroom. See where it slides over. So that right now the doors are in the bedroom. You have to go through a bedroom to get to the outside, and that's where they're tapping. I just got a text that said, and I'd already picked that up while y'all were talking and showing me pictures. The power meter's got to be relocated too.
Yes.
It's right in the middle of everything, which will make it, probably talk them into putting it underground if we can do it. Try our best to anyway. But sure, it will be relocated because where it is. And it's one of the older type services you see. It's just the power meter itself.
Right, right. Any other questions? Well, thank you, Mr. McGiffert.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to the application? Hearing none, I will close the floor to public comment and open up discussion for commission members. So as we look at this, it's the rear of the house, number one. What I appreciate is that they're reusing a lot of the materials, doors and windows. I think that's great. But everything else is compliant with what we do. Do we have any concerns? Are we prepared to make a motion?
Yes. I'll make a motion.
Go for it.
That we approve as shown.
Thank you. So I have a motion to approve the application as presented this evening. I have a second on that. Any further discussion, any questions? We're all good? All right, so we will vote. Motion is to approve the application as presented this evening. We'll start on my left, please.
Yes.
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 Mr. McGiffert, please let McGiffert Jr. know that the application has been approved this evening, and should anything change, to see city staff before he proceeds, and good luck with the project. You. Yep, but you had it timed perfectly. You were walking in just as we were finishing the other application. I thought you had timed it that way. Yeah, no, you had timed it just perfectly, arrived just on time.
All right, just two other things of business. We approved 4 expedited reviews since the previous HPC meeting. We also wanted to share with you the new Historic Neighbor Guide. This was put together by Ms. Emily Hayes and Ms. Haley Webb and the Planning Office. And this really just kind of gives a quick description of the types of work in historic districts. We will, gladly pass these out to anybody who wants them, anybody who's moving into a historic neighborhood or a historic home. This just kind of goes over some of the hot button topics that we consistently see a lot of, and we wanted to make that available to the public.
So this is out there now, ready to go.
So essentially with this, we've started just distributing them to realtors that we come across, anyone that is really active in the historic districts, and kind of starting from there. So take y'all's liberty and distribute them as you please.
Great, so you can send us a PDF of this that we can distribute
Absolutely.
it as needed, okay. Thank you so much for your work on this. I know there was a lot of thought that went into this. It's nice that it's a one-page document, so you don't have to dig through a whole lot of things. It's very, very clearly designed, easy to read. Thank you.
And that's all we have for you.
Quick question for you, Mr. Bowen.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, the kinds of expedited reviews you guys have done, nature of those things, like
Sure, yeah,
roofs, trees?
approved some landscaping. Typically, those are not the larger trees. A lot of, or some of the other minor work that we've seen a lot of are for interior alterations. They come to our office a good bit. Really anything that deals with alteration or construction of driveways will come to our office. So this month was actually kind of quiet with only 4. A lot of months we have 10 or more, so we see this a lot, and I think this will help give the public an idea of what type of work staff can approve and what type of work that needs the additional commission approval.
Right, I think that's really good information to have out there, the whole idea of what is the expedited review, what does it mean? So thank you for clarifying that and putting it out there.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments? All right, everyone, well, thank you so much, and this concludes this month's hearing of the Tuscaloosa Historic Preservation Commission.
Francine Wasden.